Hello, my name is Architect Amobi Chidera. I'm the Principal Consultant at Coeb Environmental Consults. For the purposes of this video, we're going to be highlighting two projects. One, which is the Helio Tech Hub in Enugu State, and the second is Castle Charles in Imo State. For the Helio Tech Hub, the project was meant to be an innovation hub because Enugu currently is moving towards the tech economy. So the client wanted to develop an innovation hub for the young generations within Enugu State. And then I said, since it's something that has to do with innovation, we have to be creative with the project and also having in mind sustainability. We decided to recycle used containers for the project. So the project is on two suspended floors. It's an office complex, which is meant to serve as an innovation hub, and it's fully made with shipping containers. For the second project, which is Castle Charles in Imo State, it's a residential house, but the client wanted a neoclassical design for his building, which is why the building is named Castle Charles. So it's a neoclassical architectural masterpiece. For the Helio Tech Hub, it was quite a challenging, not the design, but the construction, because it's the first structure in the southeast that is fully made of shipping containers on two suspended floors. So it was quite challenging getting technical know-how on how to implement it on site. So we had to import a lot of artisans and workers from outside that have experience in such structures to implement what we needed. For Castle Charles in Imo State, it was more of a design challenge because the client was kind of always on the move in terms of where their thought process was with the design. So the design had to keep evolving before we got to the final product, which we have now. For the Helio Tech Hub, it speaks for itself. Once you look at the structure, you see that it stands out on its own. It's an absolute architectural masterpiece. So looking at the image on the screen, you already see that the design speaks for itself. For the Castle Charles, it's a neoclassical design. For Castle Charles, the design challenge was trying to do a neoclassical design while also capturing modern elements in the design. So it was a blend of a neoclassical building with modern features in it to find the right balance so that the building would remain timeless and won't become outdated. For the Helio Tech Hub Enugu, we used three ETEX products. One was the 6 mm calci board, which we used for our ceilings. The second was the 8 mm calci board, which we used for the internal partitions. And the third was the 10 mm calci board, which was used for external partitions. For the Castle Charles in Imo State, we used the 6 mm calci board for all our ceilings. I have an interesting history with ETEX products. A couple of years ago, I had a project where I was doing an outdoor bathroom and I tried out other products on it and it didn't work out till ETEX was recommended for me and I used their 8 mm calci cement board for the outdoor shower area and it worked perfectly. So since then, I've been using their products. Two challenges which we faced in the Helio Tech Hub was one, as at the point we started doing our ceiling, the roof wasn't completely covered, so we had a lot of water coming into the building, and the ETEX product was able to withstand the dampness of the water without damaging or breaking. The second challenge was for the wall cladding. We used the 8 mm, which was thick, and it gave us rigidity on our partition walls. Also, it has its thermal insulation features because it was a container structure. It helped reduce the heat transmission from the outside of the container into the building. We used the 8 mm calci cement board on the walls. Because of the thickness, it gave us rigidity for our internal partitions. And also, the thermal properties of the board helped reduce heat transmission into the building. The third challenge we have, which was where we used the 10 mm board, was for our external window sills. We needed a board that was strong, solid to carry a certain amount of weight, and also a board that will be resistant to water, which was why we used the 10 mm calci board for the external window sills, and it served us really well. For Castle Charles, where we use the 6 mm calci board for all our ceilings. The thing I love about the 6 mm calci board is that it's strong, it's very durable, and then when you are cutting into it to install your lights, both your street lights and your spotlights, it doesn't damage. You just cut out where you need, remove it, and move on with your installation. For a while now, I've been using ETEX Nigerian products. I'm not someone to gamble on my projects. So once I find a winning formula, I stick to it. So for a while now, the moment I used it and I've realized how durable it is and how efficient it is, have stuck to it for all my projects, ceilings, partitions, and cladding. My advice would be to pick what gives your clients best value for money. There are some products that you don't need to market. Once you use it once and have a feel of it and understand how it works, the product sells itself. So I think you should try the ETEX product, and after that, you'll be sold. In an age where a lot of substandard products are being imported from all parts of the world into Nigeria and used on projects, and we see a lot of failures in building projects nowadays, I think it's very important we support a locally manufactured product that has international standards and it's very durable. And that's where ETEX comes in.